Captain Marvel, the Annihilator. You took everything from me. And now I'm returning the favor. What is happening to me?
Women.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful, wonderful day. Absolutely brutal news for the Marvels. Just savagely bad news for the Marvels, as new reports now indicate that it is tracking 72% worse than the absolute flop that was Ant-Man and the Wasp, and nearly 50% worse than the Eternals, which lost Marvel $300 million, as Disney now is in full-blown panic mode, especially since they cannot send Brie Larson or anyone else out to promote the film, given the current writer's strike. This film could lose upward of $300 or $400 million by the time it's all said and done. It's an absolute disaster, and that's just at the theater. By the way, do you have a VPN? You should probably get a VPN. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, in current year, everyone basically has to have a VPN. It's a extremely versatile and now basically required tool of browsing the modern internet. And that's why I'm happy to be partnered with Private Internet Access, and have been for over a year now. It's a VPN I use, it's a VPN I recommend to my friends and family, and I have a massive discount for my viewers. In short, a VPN allows you to change the location that you may be seen as browsing the internet from. This helps you unlock television shows and movies that might not be available in your area. It allows you to browse the internet anonymously. Heck, even right now, we just saw several countries, for example, Google and Meta, are now blocking news in Canada. And, well, how are you going to get your news? Well, you could change your location. VPN helps protect your privacy, secure your data, and bypass network blocks. It comes in extremely important all the time. That's why I have it on my computers, laptops, and mobile phones. Private Internet Access is an open source app with no usage logs, unlimited bandwidth, high-speed global server network, dedicated apps, powerful encryption, and 24/7 live support. Unlock the power of the internet and stay censorship-free by using my link in the description below, and get yourself Private Internet Access today at a massive discount. If you don't have VPN yet, Private Internet Access is the one I recommend. It's the one I use on my computer, my laptops, and my phones, and it's 83% off right now, so go grab that today. Long-range box office forecast for Marvel Studios' The Marvels. This is from Box Office Pro, okay? These are the pros. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel was introduced in a highly successful and timely fashion back in 2018 and 19, as her character was teased at the end of Avengers Infinity War in advance of her solo debut, which benefited from coming out less than 2 months before the massively anticipated Avengers Endgame. Captain Marvel would garner a $153.4 million domestic opening and go on to earn $427 million domestically. Now, if you remember, even with all the controversy around it, this movie was billed as required reading for Endgame. So you had to go see it. You had to go see The Marvels. Because there was going to be nuggets that you needed for Endgame, which turned out not to be true, and Captain Marvel was completely irrelevant at Endgame, except for a couple of pops on screen for the girl power moment, single-handedly flying through and destroying this entire space cruiser. But either that, or that's neither here nor there. The other pros, with significant all-audience-friendly tentpoles on the calendar this fall and early holiday season, not to mention a dry spell with a few significant. Essentially, there's nothing else worth seeing. That's the pro they have. That's a stretch, but maybe it's true. The pro is that there's really nothing else worth seeing. And I suppose there's that DiCaprio film, Scorsese or whatever, DiCaprio. That looks pretty good. But other than that, they're probably right. The promise of Larson teaming up with other MCU characters from the sprawling universe's streaming services, Ms. Marvel and WandaVision, and Nick Fury does have potential for, giving a different variety of people a reason to see it. It also debuts over Veterans Day weekend, which creates some backloading for the film, as the Saturday holiday will be observed on Friday. I mean, they can, go on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever the case may be. Although the cons, they say, the Marvel Studios brand has hit several bumps in the road as of late. Despite Guardians of the Galaxy 3 generating strong legs last summer, its initial $118.4 million debut was seen as something of a low-end performance for well-established and beloved sub-franchise. The franchise is quite simply miles away from the zeitgeist capturing interest and ginormous goodwill that for a time helped every film achieve automatic blockbuster status like Captain Marvel did 4 years ago when it made $1 billion. I think it made over $1 billion. Essentially, there was a golden era of when everybody went and saw Marvel movies. It was the thing to do. Those days are gone. Okay. Social media traction for the Marvels has also been noticeably weak in recent months, compounded by concerns that the ongoing actor strike may not resolve in time for Brie Larson and cast to even promote the film. Their absence on media circuit would be a major blow in Disney's efforts to pitch the film as a fun escapist experience, leaning into organic girl power marketing message to bring out underserved female audience. Yeah, everybody, the problem is they can't actually do that. Disney is incapable of providing actual escapism because they've got to cram politics and political ideology and everything into everything that they do. They also wrote, November competition may be notable with The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know a single person who cares about that movie. And more prominently, Disney's own Wish, slated to open in Marvel's second and third weekends, meaning it's going to competing directly against itself. It's highly possible that initial demand is overshadowed by this weekend's release of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. What? So let's look at some of the numbers that they wrote here, okay? They have Killers of the Flower Moon. That's the DiCaprio film. That's something I'm interested in seeing. It's saying its domestic total low-high range will be 110 million to 156 million. So pretty big numbers, pretty big variance, of course. You look at Five Nights at Freddy's, they're at 76 million to 129 million. Priscilla, the film that now portrays Elvis as a groomer, between 10 million and 27 million. And then we see on November 10th, just 27 days, 26 days, 29 days, whenever you're watching this from now, what they predict for the Marvels. They predict as low as a 50 to 75 million opening weekend, which would be, on the low end, a third of what the original did, because the original did like 147 million opening weekend. And for total domestic box office, as low as 121 million and just peaking out at 189 million. Best case scenario is less than half of the original Captain Marvel. Worst case scenario is a third. 75% decline. And this has got people at Disney absolutely panicking. I would not be shocked if they suddenly pushed it back yet again. I mean, I don't know what they could possibly do when even Screen Rant is writing the Marvel's early box office projections are 72% worse than Ant-Man Quantumania, which was seen as a gigantic financial disaster, second only to recently The Eternals. Early box office projections for the Marvels paint a bleak picture for the MCU movie, with pre-sales 72% worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, maybe pre-sale culture is just gone now. That's certainly part of it. I don't think I have literally ever pre-purchased tickets. The same day I'll buy them. I guess maybe I'm trying to think, maybe the Joker I did, or maybe Sonic. But it's extremely rare for me to purchase tickets ahead of time. But according to new box office predictions, the Marvels is already facing a potential shortfall, with initial domestic opening expected to generate between 50 and 75 million, less than half of the 153.4 million 2019 versions did. Further adding to the movie's predicted woes, pre-sales are down 69% behind the pace for those sold for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which again was seen as a financial loss, and 72% behind Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie could spectacularly flop. Now, I don't think look, Marvel's not dead. They're going to keep pumping them out. what's going to happen to Marvel movies going forward is they're going to have to cut these budgets. They're going to have to cut the CGI video effects. They're going to have to cut the big name actors that they're paying $40-50 million. That's what you're going to see, I think, in phase 6 of Marvel. I don't think you're going to see a lot of Brie Larsons. You're not going to see any Robert Downey Jr.'s or Chris Hemsworths. They literally can't afford it. During the earlier years, it seemed like the MCU could do no wrong. Even terrible movies made a ton of money. Now, with over 32 movies produced over the span of 15 years, lackluster box office performance are gradually becoming a more frequent occurrence for the once vaunted cinematic juggernaut. Whether it's a result of increasingly oversaturated market, I'm sure it is, diminished promotional efforts, that's probably not true. They say, however, it is possible that the Marvels may come to surprise everyone and overcome the disappointing predictions regarding its November opening. I mean, I just don't think that we're going to see, the movies. If the movie makes $500 million, which probably it will, it's going to lose about $150 to $200 million at the box office, which is basically what every superhero movie has been doing. Captain Marvel, no one cares about. I've been saying for years that no one cares about Captain Marvel in any real numbers. They force this Kamala Khan on everyone. No one cares about Kamala Khan. No one cares about Monica Rambeau. Okay? They care about Iron Man, Thor, Black Panther. They care about Superman, Spider-Man. I know that's Superman's DC, but you get what I'm saying. Now, if they're willing to keep losing this money, that's on them. But I can't imagine the level of panic going on at Disney right now. Yikes.